The woman in the office, under a sign for the psychiatry department, asks Ichiwan if he is truly saying that every living creature he sees looks like a pig. She leans forward over her desk, questioning if in his eyes she too is a pig. Ichiwan confirms that she is. His perception of her is a pig's head on her body. Though she finds it unbelievable, she thinks to herself that he is a handsome young man. She decides to first check if his body functions are normal and asks him what he sees at that moment. He replies that he sees two pigs. The doctor concludes that he is genuinely mentally ill. She brings out a model of a human spine, explaining that his own is severely deformed and twisted, which could be compressing his brain and optic nerves, causing his unusual condition. She informs him that the only solution is a high-risk surgery that might leave him paralyzed from the neck down if it fails. Ichiwan impassively asks if she is done talking. He then demands that she give him back his spine, reaching across the desk for the medical model. The doctor is stunned, realizing with a sigh that he actually thinks the model is his own spine, lamenting what a waste it is for such a handsome person. The scene shifts to an ambulance driving away from the building. Holding a document that diagnoses him with severe mental illness, Ichiwan introduces himself. He reflects on his life, remembering that everything has always looked like a pig to him, which he speculates might be because his parents were pig butchers. He notes that it hasn't affected his life much, with the exception of dating. Today is the day of the profession awakening ceremony. He had held out hope that his illness could be cured before this day, but he now resigns himself to the fact that it won't be. He arrives at the King Cheng Academy awakening ceremony, feeling anxious that his condition could negatively impact his awakening. A girl with blue hair, Zhu Lingxuan, greets him cheerfully, threatening to beat him up if he had been any later. In his vision, she too appears as a pig. She playfully punches his chest, asking if he heard her. Another girl jealously confronts Zhu Lingxuan, asking why she is clinging to Ichiwan again and pointing out how they act like a couple every day. A bystander remarks that they are childhood sweethearts who will likely get married after the awakening. Zhu Lingxuan dismisses their comments as nonsense and quietly tells Ichiwan to just ignore them. An official announcement calls for all students to line up according to their student numbers to begin the ceremony. The academy's white-haired principal addresses the students, explaining that the awakening is based on their attributes of strength, agility, and spirit, and that awakening an advanced combat profession is a fate-defying achievement. He instructs them to start by placing their hands on the large crystal platform. One by one, students awaken their professions, with some getting life-type jobs like intermediate metalworker and advanced healer. Another student is designated a junior engineer. A red-haired boy named Liu Jinglong lets out a powerful scream as golden energy surrounds him, and the system announces he has awakened a rare-tier combat profession, Shadowless Bladesman. The crowd murmurs in awe at the rare-tier awakening. The principal approaches and asks for the student's name. Liu Jinglong proudly introduces himself. The principal commends his name and promises to personally visit his home to discuss his future path. Liu Jinglong thanks the principal as his friends cheer for him, calling him awesome. The announcer then calls the next name, Ichiwan. Zhu Lingxuan turns to Ichiwan and wishes him good luck. The principal observes Ichiwan, noting that while the boy seems unusual, his stats are incredibly high, 3 times the average. He wonders aloud if a miracle is about to happen as Ichiwan steps forward and places his hands on the stone. An immense wave of energy explodes from the platform. The principal stares, wide-eyed, at a brilliant golden light emanating from the crystal, shouting in disbelief that it's a divine tier awakening. The system confirms it, announcing Ichiwan's new profession is a life-type divine pig butcher. The initial shock in the crowd turns to roaring laughter, with students asking if the system malfunctioned and mocking the absurdity of such a profession. The principal is utterly crestfallen, lamenting that after all these years, the first divine tier awakening at his academy is the most useless one imaginable. He bemoans that if it had been a divine blacksmith or healer, he could have boasted about it, but this outcome is just a huge, embarrassing letdown. While the principal sighs in disappointment, a holographic system interface appears only to Ichiwan. It displays his stats and 2 unique profession talents. Swine Nemesis, which grants a 50% bonus damage to pigs that increases with every pig killed, and Blade of Godslaying, which grants free attribute points for each pig slain. A slow smile spreads across Ichiwan's face as he realizes being a so-called lunatic might not be so bad, because in his eyes, the entire world is filled with pigs. He looks out at the jeering crowd and the dismayed principal, seeing them all as swine, confirming his new reality that the world is full of pigs. Liu Jinglong's friends begin to mock Ichiwan, laughing that they thought the academy was going to produce a great dragon, but instead got a lowly pig butcher. They praise Liu Jinglong as the only true dragon there. Zhu Lingxuan approaches Yichuan to offer some comfort, telling him it's okay and that by becoming a pig butcher, he is simply following in his father's footsteps. Yichuan clenches his fist in silent frustration. Zhu Lingxuan reflects on their shared past, how their parents, both having life-type professions, had always hoped they would end up together. Her thoughts are interrupted when her name is called for the awakening. She turns to Yichuan, wondering aloud if she will inherit her mother's tailoring or her father's winemaking profession, but assures him that no matter what she awakens, she will always remain by his side. She then walks confidently toward the crystal platform. As her hand touches the stone, a blinding pillar of light erupts into the sky. The principal's jaw drops in shock, and he screams that it's a legendary profession. The system announces her awakening as a legendary tier combat profession, Snow Soul Sword Immortal. The principal is ecstatic, noting that it must be a genetic mutation since both her parents have life-type professions. He immediately rushes to her side, promising the full support of the academy for her future needs. The other students begin to gossip, highlighting the immense gap between a divine pig butcher and a legendary combatant, and speculating that Zhu Lingxuan will no longer associate with Yichuan. Liu Jinglong's friends sneer at Yichuan, telling him a loser like him should stay away from her now. Zhu Lingxuan approaches Yichuan, stating that there have been some misunderstandings between them and that it's time to clear things up. She looks at him coldly and declares that they are no longer people from the same world. Yichuan simply replies that it's fine. She continues, saying she knows this must be a devastating blow for him and tells him not to pretend to be okay, punctuating her words with a slight cough. She tells him that as just a pig butcher, he will never achieve anything significant in life and that he shouldn't blame her for moving on. With that, she considers the matter settled and warns him not to bother her again, thinking to herself that she has finally rid herself of the pighead. As Yichuan turns to walk away, Liu Jinglong steps in his path, offering to teach him a lesson to make him see reality more clearly. Liu Jinglong then aggressively yells at the pig butcher to get his attention. He shouts for Yichuan to come over to him. When Yichuan doesn't immediately respond, Liu Jinglong angrily asks if he is deaf. Yichuan turns around and calmly asks what he wants. As he speaks, a dark, menacing aura emanates from him, and Liu Jinglong is suddenly struck with a chilling fear, feeling as if he were a helpless pig on a chopping block about to be slaughtered. Liu Jinglong's friends laugh, asking him what's wrong. Snapping out of his fear, Liu Jinglong becomes enraged and humiliated, cursing Yichuan for daring to glare at him and lunging forward to strike him down. Yichuan effortlessly catches Liu Jinglong's wrist, his grip like iron, causing Liu Jinglong to scream out in agony. Liu Jinglong stares in disbelief, questioning how a mere pig butcher could possess such strength. Yichuan replies calmly that as a pig butcher, it makes perfect sense for him to have powerful hands. Onlookers are shocked to see Liu Jinglong's hand being crushed. Screaming that he is going to kill him, Liu Jinglong summons his glowing blue void longsword. He swings the weapon, declaring his intent to cripple Yichuan on the spot. Before the blade can connect, Liu Jinglong's body is suddenly encased in ice, freezing him in place. Zhu Lingxuan has intervened, and Liu Jinglong angrily asks why she is still helping Yichuan. She commands them both to stop, stating that she doesn't want to see them fighting so fiercely over her. She turns to Yichuan, telling him this proves they are no longer from the same world, and that this will be the last time she helps him, considering it a final farewell to their past. She coldly tells him to leave Qingcheng, warning that she will not intervene the next time Liu Jinglong decides to seek revenge. Yichuan simply shrugs and says that if there's nothing else, he'll be going. Liu Jinglong's cronies watch him leave, remarking on how he doesn't seem to be taking any of this seriously. As Yichuan walks through the city streets, a small but aggressive dog begins barking at him. In his eyes, the dog appears as a snarling pig, and its owner, a large woman, is also a pig. The pig dog lunges. He calmly asks the woman to pull her dog away because it's blocking his path. The woman reacts with indignation, asking if he owns the road and scolding him for having no manners or compassion. A slight smile touches Yichuan's lips as he realizes this is the perfect time to test a theory. With a single, swift kick, he sends the animal flying, killing it instantly. The woman lets out a horrified scream, crying out for her son. A system notification appears before Yichuan, confirming that his extra damage has increased by 1%. He thinks to himself that his theory was correct and it really works. The woman, enraged, calls him a murderer and lunges at him, ready to attack. Yichuan gives her a cold, dead-eyed stare and flatly states that he is a psychopath. The woman freezes in terror, her mind racing with the thought that she has encountered a genuine psycho who could kill her without any repercussions. Her anger instantly vanishes, replaced by fear, and she quickly backs away, stammering that it's nothing and that he should take care of himself before she flees. Yichuan arrives at his home later that day. His mother greets him, asking if it's true that he became a pig butcher. After he confirms it, his father claps him on the back, pleased. He tells Yichuan that he takes after him, and that it's good to be an honest pig butcher, far better than a life of fighting and killing. He promises to take him to the slaughterhouse the next day to get him familiar with the work. That night, as the family sleeps, a shadowy figure appears outside their house. Yichuan's father, Yikyuan, confronts the mysterious figure, warning them not to disturb his family's life now that they know his son is just an ordinary pig butcher. The figure expresses surprise, finding it hard to believe that the son of the infamous ghost Cry is a common butcher, and even questions if Yichuan is his biological child. Yikyuan repeats his warning with more force. The figure relents, assuring him that the organization will no longer trouble them before vanishing. The next day at the slaughterhouse, his father explains that a good pig butcher starts with a good knife. He gestures to a wall of blades, telling his son to pick the one that feels best in his hand. Yichuan selects a large cleaver, and a system notification immediately confirms that his pig-slaying knife has been selected, which activates his god-slaying edge talent. His father tells him the first step is learning to properly use the knife, instructing him to aim for the pig's weak spot to ensure a quick one-hit kill. He then tells Yichuan to give it a try. Yichuan's blade glows with a fiery red energy as he brings it down on the pig. A system notification dings, confirming the kill, a level increase, a boost to his bonus damage against pigs, and the gain of 1 free attribute points. His father praises the good work but points out that the strike wasn't precise enough for a one-hit kill, advising him to aim for the carotid artery next time. Filled with a newfound purpose, Yichuan asks his father if he can be allowed to slaughter all of the pigs himself. His father bursts into proud laughter, delighted by his son's enthusiasm. He happily agrees, even telling him he can slaughter the pigs belonging to their neighbors as well. A montage of system notifications flashes on screen as Yichuan methodically slaughters one pig after another, rapidly gaining experience and power. After his 49th kill, the system announces that his bonus damage against pigs has increased by 100%, his core attributes have risen, and he has officially become a level 5 apprentice. The other butchers watch in amazement, telling his father that his son seems addicted to the work and has already completed their tasks for the entire week. Yichuan's father looks on proudly, thinking to himself that this is to be expected, as his son is a divine pig butcher. That evening, Yichuan practices with his blade, feeling that he's become quite comfortable with it. He decides it's time to leave the slaughterhouse and explore the world outside the city. The narrative explains that this world is inhabited by countless races and rampant monsters, with humanity now united under a federation divided into 9 districts. Their home, King Cheng, is located on the outer edge of the 5th district, near the untamed borderlands. At the borderlands gate, a guard warns Yichuan that since he has a life-type profession, he's restricted to operating within 1 kilometer of the city's perimeter for his own safety. Yichuan acknowledges the warning and ventures into the dark forest. It isn't long before a small, green creature, a goblin, leaps out at him from the bushes. He calmly identifies it based on its color. He decides this is the perfect opportunity to test his Bloodshadow butcher skill. Activating the ability, a sinister red aura surrounds him, and he dispatches the goblin with a single, clean strike. A system notification confirms he has killed a goblin pig, increasing his level by 5% and granting him more bonus damage and attribute points. He muses that the stronger the pig he kills, the greater the rewards. He remembers his teacher once saying that spotting a single goblin means an entire group has already marked you, and he grins, eager for the chance to level up again. Just as he predicted, a large horde of goblins emerges from the surrounding forest. Unfazed, Yichuan welcomes the challenge, inviting the kids to come and play. After the battle, he follows the trail to what appears to be the goblins' cave. The sounds of slaughter echo from within. A final system notification declares his ascension to rank 6 apprentice, along with a massive boost to all his stats and a pig nemesis damage bonus of plus 120%. Deeper within the now silent cave, he discovers a young woman tied to a wooden structure. She is bruised and terrified, and she weakly begs him for help. Yichuan moves with brutal efficiency, cutting down the last of the goblins surrounding the captive woman. She screams in fright at the sudden violence, and he tells her to stop shouting, informing her that all the goblins are dead. The woman, Zeia, profusely thanks him for saving her, explaining that she was nearly violated by the creatures. Yichuan bluntly replies that he didn't come to the cave to save her. She asks him if he was the one who killed all the goblins and if he has a combat-type profession. He tells her his name is Yichuan and points her in the direction of the city, intending to leave her there. As he walks away, he realizes she is following him and turns to ask if she is a spy for the goblins. She bursts into tears, wailing that she's just scared to go back to the city alone. He sighs and asks for her name and why she was in the borderlands. She introduces herself as Zeia and explains that she was searching for a blood moon flower as a birthday present for her mother when the goblins captured her. She then proposes a deal, offering to have the best weaponsmith in Qingcheng forge him a new knife if he helps her find the flower. He scoffs, asking if she has any idea how much that would cost, and tells her to stop following him or he will chop her up. She is indignant, wondering how he can be so cold towards a great beauty like herself, and questioning if there's something wrong with his head. Finally, she plays her trump card, revealing that her father is Zeia Beihai. Yichuan's demeanor instantly changes. He recognizes the name as the head of the powerful Zeia family, one of the 4 great noble families of Qingcheng and a master realm transcendent. He realizes that with her family's wealth, getting 10 top-tier butcher knives would be no problem at all. To prove her identity, she shows him a protective amulet from her family, explaining that it prevented the goblins from harming her, which is why they resorted to capturing her instead. Convinced, he agrees to her deal. He will help her find the flower in exchange for a top-tier knife. She is thrilled and accepts. She pulls out a map that she bought from someone, which marks the location of the blood moon flower. However, she warns him that the flower is guarded by a dangerous blood moon great python, a creature with the strength of a 9th-rank apprentice. Instead of being cautious, Yichuan seems excited by the prospect of seeing a giant python, creature he's never encountered before. Zeia is confused by his reaction but reasons that since he single-handedly destroyed an entire goblin tribe, he must possess a god-level combat profession. Yichuan tells her to take the lead, and they set off. As they travel, Zeia finds herself feeling that Yichuan is simultaneously reliable and completely unreliable. Their journey is interrupted when she spots a massive silver-horned rhinoceros grazing nearby. She urgently warns him not to provoke it, explaining that an enraged one has the strength of an 8th-rank apprentice. She suggests they quietly go around it. Yichuan ignores her completely. He declares that if the beast dares to eat grass today, it will dare to eat people tomorrow, and for that reason it cannot be allowed to live. Zeia is left speechless by his bizarre and illogical reasoning. He charges forward, his blade glowing with power, and attacks the rhino without a moment's hesitation. In a flash of light, Yichuan brings his blade down, killing the formidable silver-horned rhinoceros in a single, decisive strike. Zeia stares, her mouth agape and eyes wide with disbelief, utterly shocked that he managed to kill such a powerful creature in one hit. A system prompt announced that Yichuan's level had increased to a 7th-rank apprentice, and that his bonus damage against the pig clan had increased by 122% after slaying the silver-horned rhinoceros. Examining his broken blade, he wondered how much longer the knife would hold up. The woman he was carrying, Zeia, came to and asked what on earth his profession was. He told her it was a life-type profession, a pig butcher. She was incredulous, finding it impossible that a life-type profession could kill a silver-horned rhinoceros in a single hit, and concluded that the rhino was probably just too old and died easily. Zeia noted that they were very close to the location of the blood moon flower. Deeper in the woods, a group led by a white-haired man, Principal Zhao, appeared. He praised his students for their performance during the field training, but one of them suddenly sensed movement and called out for whoever was there to show themselves. Yichuan and Zeia walked into a clearing, coming face to face with the group. A red-haired young man, Liu Jinglong, angrily demanded to know what Yichuan was doing there. Another student accused him of being a sticky pest who had followed a girl named Lingshuan. The blue-haired Lingshuan, who had a pig-like marking on her nose, coldly told Yichuan that she had made herself clear last time and that they were from 2 different worlds now. Jinglong was glad to see Yichuan, declaring that he was just worried he couldn't find him as he drew a sword that glowed with a potent purple light. One of his companions recognized the weapon's luster, realizing it must have already reached yellow rank, low grade, a true spirit weapon. Principal Zhao remarked that he was right about Jinglong, calling him a genius who could now fight evenly with a 6th-rank apprentice. Lingshuan warned Yichuan that she would not step in to help him again. Zeia asked Yichuan if he had a grudge with these people before inquiring about the value of the spirit weapon. He told her it could probably sell for several 100,000. She recalled that Jinglong had stolen the show last time. Jinglong, staring intently at Yi Chuan, vowed that this time he would steal it back and let Zhu Lingxuan see his true strength as his purple aura flared. He mocked Yi Chuan's pig butcher profession and attacked, his spirit weapon easily shattering Yi Chuan's common blade. Yi Chuan calmly stated that he didn't need a knife to deal with him. Lingxuan looked on, worried that Yi Chuan had been foolish to provoke him. Jinglong lunged forward screaming for him to die, but Yi Chuan sidestepped the attack and landed a solid punch to Jinglong's jaw, sending him flying. Lingxuan rushed to Jinglong's side as he crumpled to the ground in pain. Jinglong clutched his face, struggling to remain conscious as Principal Zhao looked on in utter shock, wondering aloud if Yi Chuan had already reached the level of a 7th-rank apprentice. One of the students couldn't believe it, pointing out that Lingxuan was only at the 6th rank. The principal explained the difference between life-type and combat-type professions, noting that someone like Yi Chuan, a pig butcher, could level up his realm in the early stages simply by continuously killing pigs. However, he continued, the number of pigs needed to advance would eventually become an astronomical figure, while combat-type professions who mastered fighting techniques early would see their advancement speed up. He confidently stated that while Yi Chuan could rely on his high realm for now, in a few years he would be completely dominated by combat types. Yi Chuan overheard this but simply turned to leave. Lingxuan called after him, asking why he had to put himself through all this. She asked if he had spent all his time desperately killing pigs just to show her, reminding him that she was admitted to the Sky Dome Academy and they were worlds apart. At that, Zeia furiously interrupted, telling them all that Yi Chuan was accompanying her to find the Blood Moon flower, and that running into them was just a case of bad luck. One of Lingxuan's friends sneered, asking if someone actually treated the scumbag Lingxuan didn't want as a treasure. Infuriated, Zeia slapped the girl across the face. Lingxuan became enraged that Zeia would dare to hit her people and began to power up with a frosty blue aura, asking if she was looking to die. Zeia calmly revealed a small, ornate token, which immediately stopped Lingxuan in her tracks. Principal Zhao recognized it and rushed forward, identifying Zeia as the eldest young miss of the Zeia family. He groveled, admitting it was his mistake and promising to discipline his students when they got back. Miss Zeia was not satisfied and demanded that Lingxuan apologize to Yi Chuan. Under pressure from the principal, a humiliated Lingxuan muttered an apology before glaring hatefully, vowing that the Zeia family would pay for this. Yi Chuan, unconcerned, said they should leave before they missed the last bus. As they walked away, Jinglong staggered to his feet, demanding Yi Chuan give back his green peak saber. Yi Chuan taunted him to come and take it back himself. Later, Yi Chuan and Zeia arrived in a rocky, desolate area to search for the flower. A system prompt informed Yi Chuan that his exclusive butcher knife had been selected, granting him 2 free attribute points for every pig killed. Inside a cave, Zeia found a treasure chest containing a Thunderfire Pearl, a powerful item she said could seriously injure someone in the Dengtang realm. She then found what they were looking for, not just a blood moon flower, but a rare blood crystal twin flower. As Yi Chuan reached for the flower, the massive, shadowy blood moon great python appeared behind him. Unfazed, Yi Chuan turned and casually asked the beast what it was looking at, questioning if it had ever seen someone pick a flower before. The python attacked, and Yi Chuan shoved Zeia out of the way. She reacted quickly, throwing the Thunderfire Pearl she had found. The pearl erupted in a blinding explosion, engulfing the giant python. In the aftermath, Yi Chuan handed one of the twin flowers to a delighted Zeia. He explained that while a normal blood moon flower slowed aging, the blood crystal twin flower could grant eternal youth. Just as he mused to himself that his mom would love this gift, the great python, scarred but very much alive, rose from the smoke of the explosion. Zeia was horrified that it had survived, realizing it must be at the peak of a 9th-rank apprentice. She confessed that her dad had only given her 1 pair of the pearls. As the python roared, Yi Chuan activated a skill called Blood Shadow Butcher. He told Zeia to run, but she refused to leave him. He bluntly informed her that the flower he'd picked was for his mom, not her. As she stood stunned by his comment, the python lunged and swallowed Yi Chuan whole. Zeia screamed his name in terror. She called out for him desperately until the python's body suddenly began to glow from within before violently exploding in a shower of gore. Yi Chuan emerged from the bloody mist, asking if she had been calling him. He joked about the stench and how he was almost pooped out by the beast. A system notification confirmed he had successfully slain a special pig-type creature and leveled up to an 8th-rank apprentice. When they returned to the city entrance, a large man ran up, relieved to see Miss Zeia was safe. The man, Zhao, gently scolded her for taking such a risk when she could have just ordered a servant to retrieve the flower. Zhao sized up Yi Chuan, wondering how a mere pig butcher could have killed the great python, but concluded he must be a promising youth. He offered Ichiuen a gold ring worth 200,000 as a reward. Ichiuen flatly refused the money and stated that he just wanted a butcher knife. Miss Zeia explained to the confused Zhao that Ichiuen wanted to find the best weaponsmith in the city to forge him a spirit weapon. Zhao agreed to handle the matter and sent Zeia home, who told Ichiuen she would see him again. Alone with Ichiuen, Zhao warned him not to get any improper ideas about his young lady. Ichiuen replied that in his eyes, her young lady was just another pig head, and reiterated that all he wanted was a top-tier spirit weapon. Zhao informed him that he would arrange a meeting for the next day with Master Tai Xin, the best weaponsmith in the city. Far away in a bloody lair, a demonic woman with horns lamented that a human had killed her pet beast and stolen her spirit herb, vowing that the culprit couldn't escape since she had memorized their scent. Back in the city, Ichiuen sold the rhinoceros horn for 10,000, realizing it was worth the same as butchering 100 pigs. He then saw a set of gold-scale soft armor on display. The shopkeeper told him it cost 150,000. To pay for it, Ichiuen offered Jinglong's spirit weapon as a trade. The shopkeeper happily accepted, then tried to flirt with the handsome young man, waiving the service fee. However, when she asked his profession and he replied that he was a pig butcher, her expression shifted to one of utter disgust. At home, Ichiuen presented the other blood crystal twin flower to his mother. She was shocked and immediately asked if he stole it. He lied, claiming he found it after 2 large snakes fought, which earned him a scolding for going into the dangerous wilderness. His father, however, just laughed proudly. Their evening was interrupted by loud banging on the door. It was Liu Xing, Jinglong's father, who stormed in and accused Ichiuen of stealing his son's green peak saber. When Ichiuen's father expressed disbelief, Jinglong stepped forward and pointed directly at Ichiuen. Ichiuen's father asked for an explanation. Ichiuen calmly stated that Jinglong had tried to kill him and that he only took his saber, so he got off easy. Enraged that the weapon had been sold, Liu Xing demanded they pay 1 million. He was not negotiating and gave the family a threatening glare. Liu Xing gave them half a month to raise the money before leaving. Ichiuen's mother was distraught, but he told his parents he would handle it. His father placed a hand on his shoulder, telling him not to bear his burdens alone. Ichiuen's mother, sensing he was hiding more, asked how a pig butcher could have obtained such a rare flower. Deciding he couldn't hide it any longer, Ichiuen told his parents he wasn't normal. His mother immediately misinterpreted this, assuming he wasn't interested in women and offering her wholehearted support. He quickly clarified that he had a mental condition that caused him to see every living creature as a pig. This led his father to a stunning realization. If his son saw everything as a pig, he could butcher anything, effectively making him a combat-type profession. Declaring it was time to teach his son some real skills, his father led him to a field at night to pass down his personal pig butchering technique. He told Ichiuen to watch closely as he would only demonstrate 3 moves. He gathered his energy, his body glowing with an intense purple aura. With a powerful slash, he unleashed the first move, a wave of energy that seemed to split the night sky. He called it Fallen Star. The second move, Moonfall, was a flurry of cuts that distorted the space around him, which he explained was an illusion that folded one's line of sight. He then powered up for the final move, his body now glowing red. The third move, Sun Devourer, was a blinding torrent of slashes. A stunned Ichiuen asked if these moves were really for butchering pigs. His father handed him his own personal butcher knife to practice with, and Ichiuen was shocked at how incredibly heavy it was. When he tried to perform Fallen Star, the weight of the blade sent him tumbling to the ground. Watching from a distance, his father thought to himself that when Ichiuen one day reached the Emperor Conferment realm, these 3 moves would be enough to slay celestial beings. Ichiuen trains relentlessly with his glowing knives, grunting with the extreme effort of his exercises as the sun rises. With a final, powerful leap, he unleashes a new skill he calls Fallen Star, sending a devastating wave of energy down upon the landscape. A system notification confirms his level has increased to a 9th rank apprentice and that he has learned the Fallen Star skill. The scene shifts to a hospital where Ichiuen's mother anxiously asks a doctor about her son's condition. The doctor reassures her that he only fainted from extreme exhaustion after what seemed to be a whole night of intense exercise. The mother becomes furious with her husband for pushing their son so hard, vowing to teach him a lesson he won't forget. The doctor elaborates that based on the lactic acid in his body, Ichiuen appears to have performed 1,000 sit-ups, 1,000 push-ups, 1,000 squats, and also ran 100 kilometers all in one night. His mother asks if the doctor is joking, unable to believe a human could accomplish such a feat. The doctor suggests that for someone with Yichuan's mental state, it seems perfectly reasonable. Enraged, the mother storms off, yelling that she'll beat her husband so badly his own mother won't recognize him. Elsewhere, a woman muses that she didn't expect him to have such good stamina, noting a normal person would have died, and decides she'll need to give him one-on-one coaching that night before realizing he is gone. Yichuan, now recovered, walks outside reflecting that his new move consumes a lot of stamina and should be used sparingly. He remembers he needs to pick up his new knife and heads to the Iron Heart Foundry. There, a large blacksmith named Master Tai Xin confirms his identity, saying he worked all night to forge the blade. Tai Xin expresses his surprise that the Zeia family would pay a fortune for a blade for a mere pig butcher and cynically asks if Yichuan is their illegitimate son. He presents the knife, explaining it was forged from 1,000-year-old cold iron, making it a yellow-rank, high-grade weapon. He warns that if Yichuan's cultivation isn't high enough, he might not even be able to lift it. Yichuan picks up the knife with ease, remarking that it's much lighter than his father's. When he asks for its name, Tai Xin tells him it doesn't have one yet, and as its owner, Yichuan must name it himself. Feeling emboldened, Yichuan christens the blade Dragon Slayer, a name Tai Xin finds cliché. Yichuan plans to hunt monsters to earn money and level up so he can deal with Liu Xing. He overhears others talking about an increase in aggressive beasts nearby, and his eyes glow with purple energy as he grins at the prospect of having so many new targets to kill. In the forest, his heightened senses alert him to an ambush, and he narrowly dodges an attack from 3 men. One of the attackers mocks him, asking if he was just lucky, while another confirms that Liu Xing sent them to cripple him if he ever left the city. A system prompt confirms Yichuan has equipped his butcher knife, which now grants extra attribute points for every pig killed. Thrilled with the upgrade, he smugly introduces his new weapon to the thugs as the Dragon Slayer. The men burst out laughing, asking if he thinks he's a legendary hero. Yichuan replies calmly that he isn't a hero, he's just a pig butcher, a fiery aura erupting around him as he grips his knife. While the men are still laughing at him, Yichuan moves in a blur and cuts one of them down. A system prompt confirms the kill of a 2-legged pig and grants him a bonus. The remaining 2 are stunned, not even having seen him move. One tries to flee in terror, but Yichuan dispatches him instantly, triggering another system notification for a level up. The last man, realizing he is completely outmatched by this monster, turns to run, boasting that he's a genius at escaping. Yichuan easily catches and kills him, muttering that they started it. A skill scroll drops from the final body, which the system identifies as Phantom Shadow Step, a beginner skill that boosts agility. He pockets the free loot just as he senses a new threat. A strange, spiky creature with glowing red eyes appears and begins eating a corpse. Disgusted that it eats people, Yichuan resolves to kill it. He activates Phantom Shadow Step, his speed increasing dramatically as he rushes the creature. He lands several hits but takes damage in return, getting covered in the creature's spikes, though he casually dismisses the pain as a form of acupuncture. More of the creatures appear and surround him. He fights his way through the horde, system notifications popping up with each kill. Determined to level up, he pushes deeper into the forest until he finds a giant rhino monster about to devour a person. After he kills it, a massive, golden-legged spider emerges from the rhino's corpse. Seeing its valuable legs, Yichuan yells that it's stealing his gold and attacks. The spider retaliates, and a system message informs him he has been poisoned with a venom that causes frenzy. Overcome by the poison, he screams and attacks with wild abandon. In his crazed state, he unleashes a massive burst of energy that kills the spider. An hour later, he wakes up, tired but having reached the first-rank climbing pond realm. He marvels that the spider is dead and begins roasting its golden legs. A horned, green-haired woman approaches, drawn by the smell, and asks for a piece of the meat. She tries to use her charm ability on him, but Yichuan bluntly tells her to hunt for her own food, leaving her stunned that her power failed. She changes tactics and asks if he's seen a blood crystal twin flower, explaining her pet was killed and the flower she cultivated for decades was stolen. Yichuan freezes, realizing he's the one responsible. He quickly denies it and blames someone named Liu Xing, but the woman sees through his lie and grabs him, asking if he takes her for an idiot. She reveals she tracked him by his scent and attacks in a rage, demanding to know where her flower is. Just as they fight, a massive windfire ape crashes into the area. Both are forced to deal with the new threat, and as Yichuan prepares his fallen star technique, the woman recognizes the move. Believing he must have powerful backup, she decides not to risk fighting him and flees. After the ape is defeated, a new group arrives, led by a woman named Miss Jiang. One of her subordinates accuses Yichuan of killing the ape they were hunting. Realizing he's being framed, Yi Chuan tries to explain, but Miss Jiang invites him to join her Nine Heavens Alliance instead. She explains they are recruiting powerful allies to challenge the Flame Blade King, a sealed king realm sovereign. The reward for defeating such a being is inheriting their title and realm. Intrigued by the promise of a one-step ascension to the top, Yi Chuan agrees to join. The horned woman watches from afar, thinking him naive. Miss Jiang explains they need the Windfire ape's hide to create heat-resistant armor for their quest. Yi Chuan boasts that he's a professional at skinning and proceeds to perfectly skin the creature in 1 minute. As the group prepares, they are confronted by men from the rival Thunderlion Alliance, whose leader demands they hand over the ape's hide. Miss Jiang stares down her opponents, asking if they already knew about their plans and were lying in wait. An older man compliments her, saying she is as sharp as expected. A man with a large hammer threatens them, roaring that his hammer doesn't spare anyone. A member of Miss Jiang's own group, Jia Wan, suggests that to be safe, he should take the Windfire ape hide and go get reinforcements, but then he snatches the hide for himself. The man with the hammer yells at Jia Wan, asking what he is doing and demanding he hand it over, but Jia Wan retorts that since he skinned the creature himself, it's safer if he holds it. The older man smirks, remarking that the Nine Heavens Alliance isn't so united after all. Miss Jiang angrily calls Jia Wan a traitor for daring to betray the Nine Heavens Alliance, but he deflects, questioning why she suspects him instead of the newcomer, Yi Chuan. Jia Wan declares it's every man for himself, revealing the Thunderlion Alliance promised him a much greater reward, and that the stinking brat Yi Chuan spoiled everything. Lord Lei is told they'll have to go hard now. Miss Jiang warns Jia Wan that he knows what she does to traitors. He scoffs at her, boasting that with his speed, a big dummy like her can't even touch him. Lord Lei orders his men to kill the brat and snatch the hide for him. He reveals that he has already broken through to the second stage Master Realm and boasts that none of them are leaving today. A chaotic battle erupts with blades clashing in a flurry of motion. Miss Jiang is surrounded, and her allies shout for the others to stop her and not let her play. Jia Wan lunges toward Yi Chuan, laughing that Miss Jiang will pay for her foolishness in recruiting trash like him as backup. Miss Jiang screams for Yi Chuan to watch out. A powerful, dark red aura erupts from Yi Chuan as a system notification announces that his Bloodshadow Rhinox has been activated and reached level 3. He unleashes a skill called Nether Shadow Sweep, a vortex of dark energy swirling around him. Jia Wan is shocked, yelling that the brat is still too green to race him in speed, but Yi Chuan closes the distance instantly, grabbing the hide. Jia Wan screams that the dog scum is playing dirty, but Yi Chuan, the grim smile, says he's got him. Miss Jiang observes that the kid is extraordinary, fighting above his first-rank climbing pond realm, and concludes his profession must be a god-tier combat type. Yi Chuan hears her call for help and turns his attention to the larger battle. He decides they must take out the Thunderlion Alliance leader first. The leader, engulfed in purple lightning, scoffs that the one-stage gap in the Master Realm is like a chasm between heaven and earth, and that within his Thundernet domain, Yi Chuan's body will go numb. The leader prepares a finishing blow, telling Yi Chuan to go join his teammates underground, but Yi Chuan thinks to himself that he's not dead yet. A new skill, Bloodshadow Butcher, activates around him, manifesting as a terrifying, spectral beast. The leader is shocked that a climbing pond realm skill is affecting him and realizes it must be a god-tier skill, resolving that this person must not be allowed to live. Miss Jiang shouts for Yi Chuan to run, warning him that the difference in their realms is too great. The leader kicks Yi Chuan, boasting that a single kick is enough to kill him. Yi Chuan is sent flying and lies motionless on the ground. Uncle Cayenne realizes the kid used his life to buy him a single moment and seizes the opportunity, unleashing his mountain-splitting Overlord hammer technique. The hammer slams down, but the Thunderlion leader catches it, telling Uncle Cayenne he can kill him, but if he touches Miss Jiang, the Nine Heavens Alliance will never let him go. The leader laughs, saying their brothers plan to have some fun with her first. Uncle Cayenne bellows in rage, begging them to come at him instead. Suddenly, a blue energy blast, a skill called Falling Star, streaks across the battlefield and strikes the leader. The leader is stunned that the damn brat is still alive and clutches his chest, noting his golden-scaled soft armor cracked from the impact. Yi Chuan reveals he played dead to let the leader's guard down, creating an opening for his counterattack. The leader concedes that the kid's combat instincts are on another level and decides to retreat, vowing that he'll remember Yi Chuan and that they will meet again. After the enemy flees, Uncle Cayenne excitedly tells Yi Chuan he owes him his life and promises to treat him properly once they are back in Qingcheng. They turn their attention to the traitor, Jia Wan, who begs Brother Cayenne for mercy, claiming his wife is pregnant and his mother is sick. Uncle Cayenne coldly promises to take good care of his wife before swiftly executing him with his hammer. Later, Miss Jiang gives both Yichuan and Uncle Cayenne a high-grade recovery pill, each worth about 50,000. After recovering, Yichuan asks Miss Jiang to use her sonic attack on him so he can train his movement skill. He explains that Nether Shadow Sweep is his only movement skill and he needs to upgrade it. She agrees, deciding it's a good chance to gauge his real strength. She unleashes waves of sonic energy, and Yichuan dodges them using his Nether Shadow Sweep. He pushes himself, yelling for a bit more as he feels he can still go on. She intensifies her attack, surprised she can't handle someone at his low realm. Uncle Cayenne watches nervously, worried she might accidentally kill Yichuan. Yichuan endures the barrage, counting the waves of attacks as he dodges them frantically. He finally feels he's found the right feeling, and a system notification confirms his Nether Shadow Sweep has been upgraded, increasing his agility by 40% for 1 minute. Just as he shouts for another round, reinforcements from the Nine Heavens Alliance arrive. As the group prepares to head back, Yichuan says he has something to take care of and will go on ahead. Miss Jiang tells him to be careful and that she'll be waiting for him with a special welcome gift. Yichuan ventures into the woods, hoping some treasures are still there. He unearths several golden spider legs, thinking they should fetch enough to replace his shattered golden-scaled soft armor. He then rushes home, calling out for his parents, only to find the house in ruins and empty. He finds a shattered family photo on the floor and, with eyes glowing red with fury, concludes it must be the bastard Liu Xing. He storms Liu Xing's private estate in the Qingcheng Wealth District, brushing aside the guards who try to stop him. Inside, he finds a burly, red-haired man who recognizes him, stating that his men were supposed to be watching Yichuan but ended up dead. Yichuan ignores him and demands to know where his parents are. The man taunts him, saying a son's sins should be borne by the parents and that he'll kill Yichuan today to avenge his men. Yichuan, enraged, declares his parents are his reverse scale and touching them means death. The man is shocked to sense that Yichuan has reached the Climbing Pond realm in just a few days, but is confident his own recent advance to the 6th rank will give him absolute suppression. He transforms, covering his body in thick rock armor that greatly enhances his strength and defense. Liu Xing watches from the side, sneering that Yichuan deserves death for forcing his father to use his true power. Yichuan uses Nether Shadow Sweep to evade and attack, but his blade sparks harmlessly against the rock armor. The man boasts that Yichuan can't break his defense, and one touch from him will mean death. Yichuan notes that a system passive has reduced the damage he took from the man's punch, then decides if blades don't work, he'll use his fists. He lands a powerful punch that cracks the rock armor, shocking his opponent with its cannon-like force. Yichuan then activates his Bloodshadow Butcher skill, unleashing a barrage of brutal, bloody fists upon the armored man. Liu Xing watches in terror, crying out for Yichuan to stop, realizing his father will be beaten to death. Paralyzed by fear, Liu Xing can only watch as Yichuan's rampage continues. Finally, as Yichuan stands over his defeated father, Liu Xing screams that his parents were taken by someone else.